All right, folks, this is Harris Sultan. So what's happening in Somalia? Minnesota. I have already covered parts of that big multi-billion-dollar scam, but it seems like this is a bottomless pit. The more you look into it, the more you investigate, the bigger the scam becomes, the bigger the fraud becomes. So there is a video that's going viral of Nick Shirley, who's just a YouTuber, and he has done far more than all of our mainstream media outlets could have achieved. Whether that's the CNN or NBC, none of them could have uncovered this multi-billion-dollar fraud the way this young man did. So let me tell you what he's done. It's just a guy with a mobile phone. He doesn't even have fancy equipment. So Nick Shirley, he goes to these daycare centers owned by Somalis, and they are billing the Minnesota government for tens of millions of dollars while they're just ghost daycare centers, meaning there are no children in there. Have a look at this.
We're in the middle of a strip mall here inside of this neighborhood.
In fiscal year 2025, this facility, which has its license for 74 kids, was paid $1.26 million in tax money. And there are no kids. And all the facilities are the same way, all of them.
Let's see if anyone opens.
Yeah, let's see.
Once again, I try to find a spot for my son Joey, and they would not open the door. I want to put my son Joey in daycare. Because I need a spot to put my son Joey.
Yes.
Is this your daycare center?
No, I work there. What's happened?
I just want to put a child in daycare, but all the daycare centers seem to be closed. No one's opening the doors.
You work here?
I was, yeah. What's happened?
Where are the kids?
Yeah?
It says it's licensed for 74 children. Right here, state of Minnesota. Where are the kids? They got paid $1.26 million in fiscal year 2025. It says they have a capacity for 74 children.
When?
Where are the kids? Right here. State of Minnesota website.
He's in on it. He's like, uh-oh, they found out. We're going to jail. Not while Tim Walz is at the helm.
You work here and you don't know?
I don't know. I was there before. I don't know what's going on.
Were there any kids when you worked here?
He's there. Kids there.
How many?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah.
You worked here. Okay, well, then you're not of any help.
Can I put my son in a daycare here?
No, I don't know.
Can I speak to someone?
No, I don't know.
No? Yeah, I would like to see if I can put my son Joey here.
Who's your son, Joey?
My son Joey. Can I check out daycare center?
I'm gonna do my son. No.
Do you put your kid here in this daycare?
No.
There is one child in there. Yeah, I would like
That's her own child, basically.
to know if this is a legit business.
Me, I'm scared of you too. How come I explain everything?
You're scared of me?
Yeah.
Why?
Because of your curry.
She's scared of his color. You came to the country of the people of his color. Like, what is this, guys? How do you tolerate this, my dear white people? Seriously, how the F do you tolerate this? White people are the least racist people on the planet. You cannot talk like this if you're in Pakistan. You cannot talk like this to the natives of the Middle East or even in Africa. You can't. It's only the white people who allow this. I seriously, I salute you. Actually, no, I don't salute you. We used to talk about the patience of white people, you know, like amongst us Pakistanis and the immigrant community. We used to be like, look, white people are so nice. Why are they so nice? They have so much patience. They have so much tolerance. But I'm sorry, that's becoming your undoing. You don't need to be tolerating this shit. She goes to him, I'm scared of you, because she knows that she's being busted. She's busted.
Because of my color. You said you're scared of me because of my color. Does that make you a racist?
Yeah, no.
But
No.
You said you're scared of me because of my color.
I'm not saying you're racist.
You said you're scared of me because of my color. That makes you a racist. So right now, they're all getting mad because he's showing the paperwork of this business being registered as a business. 74 children, no children. We saw one child when the lady opened up the door. So now they're all getting mad.
What was this money spent on? 1 point.
So they were scamming the Minnesota government and also the federal government for feeding hungry kids. As it turned out, it was nothing. It was just all BS. They were not feeding anyone. Now they've been scanning the government for looking after children while they're not looking after any children. What kind of other scams are these people doing?
$2.6 million. What was that money spent?
Ask the owner.
There aren't any kids.
Ask the owner and the kids.
Well, then why are you talking for the owner if you're telling me to talk to the owner?
I'm sorry. I'm not understand what you're talking about.
Do you have a child here?
No.
Does anybody?
No.
Where are the 74 kids? Did you lose them? Did you lose these kids?
Did you kill
Do I
them?
need to call someone? Do
Did you eat them? Where are the kids?
I need to issue an Amber Alert for missing children?
Yes.
Are these children missing?
You have to call the police.
It's not my business that children are missing. 74 infants and toddlers, preschool.
The proof's right there. There's no children anywhere.
It's from the state of Minnesota right here.
We're in.
Why did you do this to your country, guys? Seriously, why did you? Why? Why? I'm sorry. But this is not it, okay? This is not it. You want to see more? So this is actually angering a lot of Somalis in Minnesota. Listen to this Somali guy. He has something to say to you guys.
So you mean to tell me you went all the way to Minnesota just to pocket watch? And then on top of that, put out misinformation. But that's what I'll be saying, like, bro, like, y'all say, like, this is getting out of hand, bro. We will not accept this. We will not tolerate this in the state of Somalia. I'm
In
sick
the
of
state of Somalia. This is the state of Minnesota, you dumbass. Deport. Sorry, there is no other solution. Mass deportations. That's the only solution. That's it. We can't live with people who are not willing to integrate and assimilate. They see you as a big fat hen that lays a golden egg. That's it. No loyalty. They hate you. They hate your race. They hate your culture. They hate, obviously not every single one. I'm talking about at a cultural level. Cultures, okay? Cultures don't mix like this. This idea of multiculturalism, I'm sorry. Some cultures are hostile. They will always remain hostile. And Muslim culture, whether you're an African Muslim or a Middle Eastern Muslim or a South Asian Muslim, they have their own aims of glory. Islam doesn't play second fiddle.
the state of Somalia. I'm sick of these people, bro. I'm sick and tired of them, bro. They stay hating on us, bro. For what, bro? Like, leave us alone.
Leave us alone. So there's some other Somalis who are angry, you know. Instead of apologizing for the behavior of their community, they're actually doubling down, okay? The reason why I call out the Pakistani community is because I feel responsibility. It becomes even more of a duty for me, even though, you know, like it wasn't my choice that I have to share my identity with Pakistan, but I understand it becomes more of my duty to call out the bad behavior of the Pakistani community or of the Muslim community because somehow I'm attached to them. If you want to say that, hey, we're not all the same, then you need to call them out. You need to make that distinction more apparent. But what they do is they say, hey, we're not all the same, but they don't even condemn the bad apples of their own community. How does that make sense? It's become my double duty to call out the bad apples of the Muslim community and the Pakistani community, to show to you guys that we're not all the same. I got nothing to do with these people. But they don't do that. Look at this. Look at this. No shame. Look at this guy. He is a police officer in Minnesota. Can't speak a word of English. And he's saying that he has joined the police force so he can serve the Somali community. What if you're a normal white American and you need his help? Is he going to put the Somali community first? You bet he will. I know the mind. These people are highly tribal. They're tribal. They are saying it with their own mouths. Back in the day, people used to hide these kind of sentiments, but they broadcast it to the world.
markaan haddaan askarnahay Soomaaliyeed ininka ayna shaqeynaa habeenii maalmo ininka ayna taaganahay fahanteen horta sida ogtihiin ba wadankan anaga qaxootiyan imaanay.
They came as refugees, so they had nothing to offer, absolutely nothing. They were taken in purely on humanitarian grounds that, okay, you know what? Your people have been killing you and massacring you in your own country, so we'll take pity on you and we'll let you live here. You would imagine that the refugees of all people, even more so than economic or skilled migrants, they would be more grateful to the country that's taken them in because these guys were desperate. They're like, oh, thank goodness you just saved my life. If a skilled migrant comes, then he can have a little bit of hubris. He can have a little bit of arrogance that, hey, look, I got a PhD, okay? I am contributing to your economy. I'm paying so many millions in tax. So you'll be like, okay. And by the way, that was the purpose of immigration. The only purpose of immigration was such that we take the best minds from all over the world and utilize them for our own country's benefit. That was the whole point of immigration. You don't take losers from poor countries. You take winners from countries. That was the purpose. But look at this guy. These guys came as refugees, and look at their attitude towards America. Deport.
askar Soomaaliya ma jiri jirin marka hadda anaga markiina la haygareeyay waxay noqotay inaan dadkeena u shaqeyno dadkii dhaqankii ma fahmeynaa luqadii ma fahmeynaa culture-kii ma fahmeynaa marka qofka kale ma taqaana ajnabiga abadaanka iyo anaga waa kala duwanahay because qofka
That's why we are different. That's why we are different from foreigners or white officers. We're different.
gaabkii waxa we build that bridge guys ma fahantay marka insha Allah waa mahadsantiin again ogaada askari kasta oo Soomaaliya dalka
whether you're in the homeland or abroad works for you.
dabadaba inuu inii shaqeeyaa habeenkii marka hurudaan iyo marka ma taqaana achievtaan inika inii taaganahay oo markaan
Guys, first of all, I don't know why these Western governments started bending over backwards. I noticed this in Australia as well. They have started sending out messages, text messages, you know, like you need a breast cancer or some sort of a checkup. They've started sending those messages in different languages like Urdu or Arabic or Hindi. Why? 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 What? You know, sometimes I've noticed that it's not the migrants that demand these extra privileges. Sometimes they don't. Because I remember it was a very different world back in the early 2000s, okay? We were immigrants. We knew that we've come to a foreign country. We didn't ask for handouts because we were like, oh, hang on, they can easily say that, go back. We didn't ask them to start putting up signs in our native language because we're not in Pakistan. That was the mindset of most migrants at that point. And then wokeism started showing up. And these white people, these liberal white people started saying, oh, you know what? Let us change the signboards into your language. You know what? Let us give you some money as well. And the immigrants were like, okay, all right. But why? Why are you bending over backwards? A civilization that does not respect or safeguard its own values and culture does not deserve to survive. It just doesn't. Like, how can the West survive if Westerners themselves do not want to protect them? These people are highly loyal and patriotic to their cause, to their identity. Look at these Somalia. They've got nothing in Somalia, yet they're proud to be Somalis. We're going to export Somaliism to America. We're going to bring our Somaliness to America. And it's the same with Pakistanis and Bangladeshis and everyone. But it's the white people who say, oh, isn't that beautiful? No, it's not. It's freaking ugly. But okay, whatever it is, I don't care. But safeguard your own culture. Why is it so hard? I don't want this. Look at this is Brussels. What the hell? How did you do this to your own country? Look at this. What is this? What is this?
Hostile looking people. Why are you so rude, man? Why are you so rude? Because I can film where I want to, yeah.
What is this? Seriously, guys, what is this? It's happening all over the West. Europe is gone, but why are you letting this happen? Why? Please don't do this. This should be classified as treason. Okay, so anyway, so that was America, yeah? That's not even the tip of the iceberg, as they are saying. The actual number could be in tens of billions of dollars. But that's not just in America, okay? A new report came out. Nearly $100+ million have been stolen from Swedish taxpayers by a Muslim Brotherhood-linked imams who ran private schools and kindergartens and have now fled the country. Some of the money went to sex clubs in Somalia. Who would have thought? An explosive investigation by one of Sweden's largest newspaper, Expressen, revealed that the group looted over 1 billion SEK in school vouchers and welfare funds. School vouchers. Yeah, just like in America. Oh, we're feeding the homeless kids. Hey, look, we're looking after the kids. They go for, oh my goodness, they go for your soft heart. Oh my goodness, they know how to exploit white people. One of them, the former member of parliament, Abdirizak Wabiri, siphoned. So he was a former member of parliament. Like he was given the ultimate honor in his adopted country to even assume office. A group of imams classified by the Swedish Security Service in 2019 as threats to national security, yet Sweden learns absolutely nothing. It's not that hard. Start grabbing them. Deport. It's not that hard. Seriously, it's actually not that hard. I don't know why these Western governments find it so difficult to cancel people's citizenships. I was looking at, there is a very clear provision in the UK's law where the Home Secretary can just cancel anyone's citizenship on the grounds of public good. And that's pretty much what they use for Shamima Begum as well, the ISIS bride. Why can't they grab Muhammad Hijab and say, bro, look at the stuff that you've been saying. Cancel your citizenship. It's not conducive for public good. Do it with 5 or 10 of these people. Watch how they fall in line. They'll fall in line like that. But again, as I said, it's probably because there is no political will. And the longer they take to grow a spine, the worse the backlash is going to be. Anyway, go schools. Hussein ran schools, preschools that funneled tens of millions to Malta, private individuals, and extremist groups. So he's running sex clubs, jihadi groups, and all kinds of things. Most schools have been shut down, sometimes for extremism, sometimes via the Al Capone route, economic crimes. Taxpayer money meant for Swedish children instead funded luxury lifestyles and radical Islamism and sex clubs in Somalia. A double loss for society. Double loss for society. Idiots. Okay, let's go back to Minnesota. There's more fraud. So feeding hungry kids? Looking after children at daycare? Do you think that's it? No. There's a lot more to it. Let's have a listen to this lady, what she has to say. Minnesota realtor exposes housing home health fraud by Somalians. Geez, who said Somalis are not smart? This is pretty high IQ stuff, unless they were helped by some Americans, like Tim Walz, who knows?
Here in Minnesota, a local realtor reached out to me to tell me about another way that Somalians are scamming Minnesotans out of their taxpayer dollars. In her community alone, Somalians have bought up over 455 homes. They buy these homes, claiming they're turning these homes into home health care centers. She says the way we know Somalians have bought these homes is because all of a sudden, extremely nice cars start showing up. Mercedes, BMWs, the nicest cars are parked in the driveway. And she said, by law, the state will not come out and inspect these homes and make sure these homes even have clients living in these homes. She also said, as a realtor, she cannot disclose to people wanting to buy homes in this neighborhood that Somalians have bought that home and they're using that as a home health care center. She said these homes can even take people in who've just been released from jail, and the neighborhood does not need to know about this. But she says many of these homes do not even have clients in them. But the state is writing them checks every month for the clients that the Somalians say are in these homes. And these Somalians are making millions of dollars off of these homes every year. The Somalians have figured out exactly the perfect plan as to how to scam Minnesota taxpayers out of their money. They are banking on this, making millions of dollars. And the government here in Minnesota is too lazy to go and check it out and to see if there's even clients living in these homes. The fraud in Minnesota is so deep. Let me know your thoughts on this one.
How could a bureaucrat not notice that suddenly we are issuing out a lot of checks to very exotic names? How come? I refuse to believe that this is just ignorance. This is just negligence. There has to be some form of complicity. Tim Walz, he could have been America's vice president. I've seen him. He's so pathetic. That guy is so boring and bland. You know, a politician should have some sort of a presence, some sort of an aura, some sort of charisma. But Tim Walz, he's just a dud. I think he's Ilhan Umar's bitch. He gives off that energy at least. Okay, so what's happening? Are we just going to keep talking, or there's going to be some sort of an action? The public is demanding action. Oh, before I tell you how America is responding to this, one more scam. One more, okay, in a long list of Somali scams.
Okay, I just want to get this all out while it's still fresh in my head.
That's me, investigative reporter Eric Rasmussen with 5 Eyewitness News. I recently checked on this house in Burnsville, Minnesota, looking for info about a man named Abdikerm Idle.
Do you know where he is?
He fled the country in 2022, right before being indicted for fraud, along with his boss and 45 others linked to feeding our future. Investigators say stolen taxpayer money paid for this house, and the feds filed paperwork to take it through forfeiture.
Do you know if the government is trying to take this house?
That's the voice of his ex-wife, according to a young woman who also spoke to me through the door.
Ex-husband.
She says a couple of years ago, the government came, and she says they worked it all out. The question in all of this is, Abdi Kermidle is still listed as the owner of this house here. And obviously neighbors around here have questions about what's going on with the efforts to recover the proceeds of all the fraud.
All kinds of scams, all kinds of fraud. I think these bureaucrats should be charged with criminal negligence. How can they hand out public money like it's candy? How? Why don't I get anything for free? Why? Why do people who follow the law and don't do anything wrong always end up getting the worst end of the stick? I mean, I wouldn't mind an extra $2 million out of nowhere and just write it off. Just say, okay, Harry, sorry, you know what? We're too lazy to do anything about it, so just keep it, okay? Keep the money. Why don't we get it? Okay, so fake daycare centers, fake healthcare centers, buying houses and giving them to your ex-wives, feeding children that don't exist. What else? You bet there is more. How about fake transportation companies?
I started to see all these transportation companies going around.
I bet they all had Somali names.
It was always a Somali driver. And I said, well, that's great. They're out there transportation, contributing, but they never had a passenger, never, ever once. And I said, well, what is all this transportation? What are they doing? So then I found out that in Minnesota, they have something called non-emergency medical transportation. So this is going to the dentist's office, therapy, whatever it might be. And I said, well, how many of these companies are there? And the research came back that there are 1,020 of them, and more than 800 of them are Somali-owned. Nobody from the state of Minnesota ever cross-checks to see if any rides were ever actually provided. All they did was write the check. I started to see all these transportation companies.
Jeez, it's never ending. Jeez, it just never ends. So JD Vance has responded to it. This is the full video, actually. It's a full 42-minute long YouTube video by Nick. He goes more in detail. I'll include the link in the description. JD Vance is saying this dude has done far more useful journalism than any of the winners of the 2024 Pulitzer Center Prizes. What's happening in Minnesota is a microcosm of the immigration fraud in our system. Politicians like it because they get power. Welfare cheats like it because they get rich. And you and I, we get screwed. But it's a zero-sum game, and they're stealing both money and political power from Minnesotans. Sukash Patel has responded to this, and he's saying that the FBI is aware of recent social media reports in Minnesota. However, even before the public conversation escalated online, the FBI had surged personnel and investigative resources to Minnesota to dismantle large-scale fraud schemes exploiting federal programs. Fraud that steals from taxpayers and robs vulnerable children will remain a top FBI priority in Minnesota and nationwide. To date, the FBI dismantled a $250 million fraud scheme that stole federal food aid meant for vulnerable children during COVID. I covered that story separately. So there's a lot more that is happening, but we need action. And we all want to know how much of a hand Ilhan Omar played in facilitating this. Something tells me she had a hand in this, okay? Something tells me. Obviously, it's not my job. It's the job of the FBI to figure that out. But knowing how the mind of a third world scammer works, she's not clean. It would be pretty hard for me to bet against that. If I'm a good bettor, I would be betting that she had a hand in that. So, well, by the way, just a passing story. It's a never-ending story. 9 people arrested in Italy for allegedly raising millions for Hamas. Same story again. Italian police have arrested 9 people accused of raising around 7 million euros for Hamas over more than 2 years. The money was ostensibly collected as humanitarian aid for Palestinian civilians. So all these videos that you see of Palestinians suffering in Gaza, a lot of them are crisis actors. And they appeal to you, please give us some money. Let us go out and help these people with fake blood and makeup. That's what's usually happening. So the whole thing stinks. It's a circus. The whole thing is a massive fraud. It's time to stop being gaslit. Okay. It's time to just say it's none of our business. You know what? Go away, sort out, fight your own wars, fight your own battles in your own countries. We've got nothing to do with it. Get the F out. Deport.